Aloha everyone, this is Yuanyuan's oral defense of dissertation entitled with Study on Adjustable External Shading Design of Residence in Shanghai. To begin with, here is a reminder of the contents to show the transition from research part to design part. First, let's see some main conclusions I will refer to in this part. Ultimately, the research result is presented in a map of recommended shading forms for different orientations. Then the map of recommended adjustable gears for each shading forms are shown in the table. Combined with diagrams show how it works. Next, I will introduce the component design. For design principles, I mainly use the method of literature review and a case study to illustrate that my design will not only try to focus on the shading performance, but also take the lighting and ventilation as well as the visual effects into consideration. As a conclusion, horizontal shading device blinds shutters are highly recommended, and different shading devices have different advantages when taking account various evaluation criteria. Therefore, comprehensive shading devices are integrated. Device integrating multiple basic shading forms can be developed as a more advanced version of product. Appropriate combination of greenery can be considered for shading device. In order to make the external facade neater, it is better to integrate external shading device into the elevation. And materials also important part for product. Here I collect most of the common material that will be used for shading device as the preparation. The common material used in the sunshine design are aluminum, zinc, wood, glass in diverse colors. I did research to the anchorage method too, shown in the table above. The structural connection of the sunshine components mainly includes two methods, pre-embedded and post-installed. Here use blinds as examples to show the pre-embedded anchorage. When the length of overhanging sunshine component is less than 3 meters, the structural connection member can adopt the post-install method. If the wall is curtain wall, so it is better to apply other proper connections to install the shading devices. The picture shows the connection method for shading installation on the curtain wall. And then I developed some shading components, mainly based on the basic shading forms. The main installation methods are surface mounting and concealed installation. The surface mounting is more suitable for the renovation of the building facade. The figure below shows the diagram of concealed installation for blinds. At the same time, the concealed installation is also beneficial for maintenance and cleanliness, thereby prolonging the service longevity of the product. Manually controlled type is still the most popular ones among the residential buildings in China, mainly because easy adjustment, lower price. However, the size of the traditionally manually controlled blinds and rollers is limited to the manual control area, under 2 meters for width and length both. But in most conditions, the size is enough for most residents. And then I developed two adjustable type for standard shading plate, folded concealed and the real sliding concealed. Two types are all installed concealed in order to make the building facade simpler and neater. The next type is called real sliding concealed horizontal shading plate. In this product proposal, the shading slab can be retracted in the room when it is not in use through a pre-embedded sliding rail in the wall, and it can be fixed by the right rope cantilevered on the roof, and thus form the storage space in the room. The integrated shading component is a combination of horizontal plate, shading curtain, buffalo, and greenery sunshade under the support of an assembled skeleton. Blinds and curtain can be retracted in winter. Each part of the component is adjustable. As for the plant selection, here come some suggestions. While obviously the green-leafed plant has better effect on decreasing the temperature on its area wall and perform better on increasing the air humidity as well. The plant container should be as light as possible to fit the system requirement. Plastic and metal sheet is recommended as the main material. Aluminum is a common material for plant container because of the various color scheme and good extension capability and light self-weight, while commodious balcony becomes a prevalent space organization strategy in residential building because it can also serve as the suitable support for integrated shading system. As every part of the shading component is adjustable, so it can meet various demands in different seasons. Now move to the new technology and product. The first one is built-in adjustable blind energy-saving glass, which is the latest developed technology for hollow energy-saving glass industry. Next one it is which is called hollow glass window consisting of two pieces of 5 millimeters transparent glass. This one has better shading performance than the previous one. However, they share the same shortcoming that is cannot meet the requirements of ventilation and shading at the same time. Besides, the price a little bit high. Nanotechnology provides a new solution for self-cleaning and water repellent coating, which is also important for external shading material. The picture shows a commonly used material called nanotitanium dioxide. It only requires UV light and water to remove the dirt easily. More importantly, the self-cleaning coating can be applied to diverse material surface, not only glass but also PVC, metal, soundproof panel, tiles, and concrete slab. Now move to the next chapter, shading design of residence in Shanghai. This design mainly focuses on the application of shading device, and the final outcome will be presented in the renovation strategy for an existing case. The final energy consumption and yearly hours, comfortable hours will be calculated. The case study is chosen within the inner ring of Shanghai, a residential court named Qianshui Kaiyue City, built in 2010. It is also within the 4 kilometers radius range of Shanghai government. Kaiyue City consists of 8 buildings in total. In the design, buildings 6, 7, 8 are chosen as the renovation target, shown in dark red, as there are 3 identical building blocks, representing the dominant unit type of the residence community right now. The figure below shows the unit plan. It is a typical plan of 2 household, 1 elevator apartment. The color diagram shows the function plan with yellow showing the air conditioned room, orange for semi-air conditioned room, and purple for the no air conditioned room. The type of the room is classified by the air conditioning schedule, which is associated with the AC energy consumption, while the south and north balcony is designed to enjoy the sunshine and welcome the better ventilation. The next part, design strategy, will be demonstrated based on the previous research conclusion. All these shading products are developed from the basic shading forms, shown in the table on the right side. For north balcony, integrated shading devices are recommended to provide living room and even interior lighting environment and greater visual effect. As the existence of the balcony, it is easy to install the integrated shading components, and the greenery container will be easily supported by the balcony. All the components can be mounted on the facade by the post-installation method. As for the kitchen, rail sliding concealed horizontal shading device can be applied because it is more functionality-oriented space. Rail sliding concealed shading device can construct a storage space when it's retracted inside the room. This panel can be suspended above the window to hold the cooking instruments or other equipment. The ordinary window can be replaced by the integrated one with the sliding concealed component integrated inside. For south elevation, there are 2 bedrooms facing south, according to the applicable map of shading forms in the chapter 3. Horizontal one is one of the suitable shading, though the blind has better shading performance. It blocks more view scenery and has lower lighting permeability ratio. While for most Chinese family, bedroom is one of the most important functional rooms with higher requirement of the sunshine. So folded concealed horizontal shading device is applied. taking advantage of 300mm recess above the window. As for the balcony, integrated shading design is adopted again to create a more natural-like living environment. So it will block a part of the sunshine and direct solar radiation. It is acceptable to have it because the function behind the balcony is the independent study and bathroom. The east and the west elevation share the same shading strategy. Use blinds to provide an unified facade and even illumination, privacy for study room and the washroom. The picture shows the overall image of the building after renovation. The buildings are better blended into the landscape to reduce the impact and the scale of the building mass. In this chapter, the design outcomes will be evaluated for energy consumption and yearly comfort percentage. The specific steps are the same with chapter 5. According to the overall analysis, the average temperature of the west-facing rooms is generally higher than the east ones. The hottest room in the apartment is the west bathroom, while the rooms in the center of the unit don't differentiate a lot in average temperature. Here is original base room temperature experiment of the extremely cold week. And then the original year comfortable percentage will be examined. Combining with energy consumption figure, it can be roughly concluded that the bedrooms facing the south are the main energy consumption space in the household. In general, the west unit consumes more cooling energy than the east unit. Now comes to the conclusion. The diagram shows the increased yearly comfort percentage in each room. The result shows that west-facing and east-facing are of the highest potential to be optimized. The optimization influence of the shading device fade quickly from the peripheral space to inner space. From the energy saving percentage, it is obvious that the west or east-facing rooms are optimized more than the study room in the west unit, increasing 15.26% and the east one reducing 14.36%. And almost each room has improved approximately 6% in cooling energy consumption. That's all. Thank you for your listening.